What's up? Welcome to a new episode of Movie Schmovie. This is episode number 465. My name is Steve, one of the co-hosts of the show, and as always, I'm joined by
A very tired Ron.
And a reasonably well-rested John.
Wow. Okay, good. So this should balance out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's how it works.
I'm somewhere in the middle, I think, so we should be fine. We'll try to keep Ronald awake, try to keep this lively, keep it lean.
Mm-hmm.
You guys always keep me awake. Well, except one time I feel like I was like sleeping with my eyes open.
I think there was a time that I think we both agreed, John, that we thought he might have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
But I think we all three have experienced the 2/3 into the episode tune out without meaning to. I think that's the thing that can happen when we get off to a late start, or whatever.
Sure.
Especially if it's a thing you haven't seen or whatever, and you're just kind of listening. But I don't know. I think that's the same thing that happens if I'm watching something or listening to something. In fact, our required viewing today, I'll get into a little bit of the having a hard time staying awake watching something, and that's not the comment that it sounds like I'm making about the show that we're doing. But I had a time catching up on the previous episodes of what we were talking about today.
Okay.
A show that I had not watched, so I had to catch up. And I kept watching it when I was tired.
Good choice. Or it's a choice, rather. I don't know if it's good.
I make choices. That's one thing I can say for sure.
I choose things.
These decisions I make, they choices be.
So today's episode, we're going to go through a required viewing pick. Ronald chose last week the most recent, or the new episode, the update episode of the case against Adnan Syed, the HBO Max miniseries. They released a new episode last week. And then I think we're going to just go around and talk about whatever else we may have seen, anybody's caught up on or caught in the last week. So yeah, let's go right into required viewing. Ronald, you want to lead us into it? Remind us why you chose this new episode of the series.
Sure. It is the case against Adnan Syed. Syed, episode 5. I feel like a lot of people pronounce his name.
I was going to say there's at least two different ways that are used. There's Syed and Syed.
Yeah. But this is the catch 'em up episode. I've seen you say it like that, but yeah, catch up episode. It's been a couple years since the series first aired, and as Marylanders, we had a kind of feeling of whiplash in the last couple years about what the hell was going on with his case, everything surrounding it, and resolutions that were proposed in the midst of that. And this is just kind of a summary of everything. And some of the things I didn't know, which is really cool too, especially toward the end. What'd you guys think about part 5, The Tree Grew, the case against Adnan Syed? Jeez.
Adnan S.
Yeah, Adnan.
We'll just call him Adnan.
Yeah.
Adnan works. Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, what'd you guys think about part 5?
Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I it's interesting. Like, I was very excited to watch it just to kind of catch up and summarize everything that's happened since the series came out, because it's so timeline wise, and this is I think really relevant because I kind of forgot that. I think we maybe mentioned it last week when you picked it, but like watching it with Aaron, I kind of forgot the timeline up from basically watching episode 5 of this going back to when Serial started. So Serial started in October of 2014. The case against Adnan Syed, the series on HBO, aired in March of 2019. So 5 years after.
Crazy.
And then this new episode is basically covering anything that was done between 2019 and now, basically. Yeah. But most of what's happened roughly 3 years ago. Like the bigger developments kind of started or at least happened in and around 2022, 2023. So like the gap between the catch-up episode of the series and things happening after the first 4 episodes of this series came out. I don't know. I knew it, but just kind of checking myself watching it of like the timeline of everything, because even this episode bounces around a little bit in terms of the timeline between 2019 and now, because most of the stuff that we get in this episode was between 2022 and 2024, like really. So I mean, watching it, it was nice to have kind of like a summarization of all the headlines that, living here in Baltimore, we'd see every time something happened with the case, especially after the series aired uh, in 2019. But I think it was nice to kind of have a layout of what exactly happened in that time, because there was a lot of involvement of the I guess she was the attorney. No, what was God, I'm so bad with the names. Um,
Mosby.
Mosby, Marilyn Mosby. Yeah. So like her involvement with the Juvenile Act that came up to be able to retry these things or at least reevaluate these cases. Um, and the idea of getting additional evidence and testing evidence and other crimes that happened, in that time that seemed to have some sort of correlation, at least a coincidence with this case, that I think gave enough of a leg or motivation to maybe look into that stuff, enough to get him to where he's at right now, at least, which is, his what is it? He's been released from prison for time served, but he still has a criminal record. It's not a vacated thing, which is I think ultimately what they're still going for. But it was really refreshing just to kind of be reminded of what happened. It did seem like a lot of the episode was kind of spinning wheels a little bit with the pieces of action that actually happened. With the announcements, with him coming to the hearing with the victim's brother and his involvement with like kind of being against what was happening, and lack of maybe involvement with having a say in what was happening. So I wasn't fully aware of all of that stuff. So this was a nice kind of reminder for me. But I don't know. Overall, I just felt like the way the episode was structured, the name of the episode, some of the imagery in the episode, and even the way the episode ends with him, talking about the tree in his parents' front yard, I thought was really emotional. Like when he finally saw his dad again, like both of us were a mess.
Yes.
And these are things that we knew happened, and I feel like I saw stuff even like in the news, like obviously that was covered heavily when he finally got to go home, with his mother and his brother and his dad. I remember seeing stuff about it, but the way it's laid out in this episode, just addressing his mother's health and like her work ethic and how exhausted she'd been just from trying to keep things up because his father basically shut down and has been basically a shell of himself ever since this happened. So yeah, that moment of the episode really, for something that I'm so versed in, and like it's just been something I've thought about ever since it happened, and then when Serial came out, and then when this came out, like it's just never really left my mind. But like that visual of him going home, I mean, just wrecked us. Like it
Yeah.
wrecked me. I was like weeping, just to see that, and even the moment when he's talking about the friends that he left behind in the prison.
Oh my God, that part, Steve, and like from the moment
Jeez
he
Louise,
walks out,
man.
and like then they show the clips of the guys that were in prison that got out a little bit before him
Through
and
the
were there to
JRA,
support him.
yeah,
And if I
yeah.
talk about that too much, I'll probably get choked
Right, you'll
up. Just
cry as well,
but I mean,
yeah.
and then the getting home, and then the family and everybody happy for him, and then the dad coming out and kissing him on the head, and
Yeah.
and I was really touched by their faith.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that I don't know, there's all kind of conflicted feelings you can have about the nature of this kind of story.
Yeah.
And I can see why some people would say, oh, this show has like an agenda to it, or this show has like a bias to it. But I feel like the facts unless the facts being presented are just completely spurious, the facts as presented paint a situation where it wasn't proven, and the evidence
Yes.
that was given is questionable.
Right.
And I find it very upsetting as I have full. I mean, I feel so badly for the family, for Hayes' family. I mean, like, and Heyman
totally.
Lee. This show does what it can to fill out her story as well. And I guess I'm referring to the whole series at this point because I just had to, having not watched the series before, having felt like, okay, I listened to Serial, I kind of knew what was up,
Right.
but I didn't really know the story of what had happened after. And I think the really interesting thing of what happens to this family, this story, this investigation after the events of a show like Serial, how much Serial was talking about something that had happened years and years before. And then that show coming out made it more current. And then you find out that for someone like, I think her name is Rabia Chaudhry.
Yeah. Chaudhry, yeah.
She is amazing. I mean, again, whatever you think the right or the wrong of what happened, and again, the thing that they make a point several times in the previous episodes, not so much in this last one, but I think they make this point in the last one too, that like you can't really know. Like there is no real answer.
Right.
Nobody really knows. Like even if you accept Adnan's innocence, the fact that we don't know who did it all of a sudden, and that's the thing that I think that Rabia and Marilyn Mosby say, and a few people bring up that Justin Brown, was that his name?
Yes,
the guy who was his previous lawyer.
Yeah,
I really liked that guy. He was really good. But I mean, I like that he popped back up in this too to have like a nice moment with Adnan. But like all those people who are saying like. It just was never fair. It was just never like that. We also have not seen her murder actually investigated, beyond the open and shut case that the cops were trying to create or that the prosecutor was trying to create. So I just feel like in that sense, Adnan's story really hit me, like the moment of seeing him get free and seeing his family around him and his brother, something about his brother, like talking to him about what sodas they have. That was such little brother behavior. And it was so cute and endearing, but also like so human. And I don't know. I mean, you sort of forget, oh yeah, wait, this is a documentary and I'm seeing this because there were cameras there and these people were letting this camera crew in and people seem very comfortable around the cameras. But those moments, yes, Steve, were very, very genuine. And I was sort of a wreck from that moment, from when he gets out to about like, once it settles in. And then what he was saying about his brothers in prison, that he was now going to miss. That was, whew. I mean, because prison is so inhumane, and that people are there for each other, or there has to be some kind of humanity. I know that it's probably hard to find in there, but like, I find the whole prison system in our country so depressing and so like punitive without the idea of making somebody better, like I think that, or making somebody feel better, or getting better in the whatever suffering caused them to do the bad things they did, even if they are guilty, but especially if there's someone innocent. And I guess that's one thing I wanted to just say is that as sympathetic as I felt towards Heyman Lee's family, and because it is obvious why they would be conflicted about this, but there were so many people who would say, well, but he's alive. She's dead and he's alive. And it's like, I don't like when that's used as an excuse to say we shouldn't care about his life. Like so many people said that. And it's like, but if his life is spent in prison being punished for a crime he didn't commit, then that's not, I just don't see where that equivalency was made. And again, I can understand how the family would feel like if they felt that good about the conviction, they wouldn't want to see it overturned. But I wonder why there wouldn't be more curiosity about like, well, then who really did it? Like, if this evidence is pointing towards some mystery here, then don't you want is it just that somebody's punished? Is that what matters? And again, I sound like I'm smearing her family, and I'm really not. I found them very sad, and also this doc. I think this doc probably used as much of them as they could get. I don't think they were cooperating with this doc
at all,
and I don't blame them for not cooperating with it. It's just so complicated and sad.
Yeah. One of the things that I guess I was thinking, and I didn't have a child before this documentary. The distance between part 4 and part 5, I had a kid, so like it's really changed. You start to think that like all the elements, all the people we're talking about, people's children, their friends, aunts, uncles, and it's the court's job to take the evidence, the findings, the observations, the witness stuff, and make a decision. The problem is societal norms at the time sometimes can affect things. It's like the racism is very apparent in some of this stuff. The fact that they ignored large chunks of evidence and the emotion of it can get in the way of it. It's facts over feelings. I don't care what the fuck you feel about this. They ignored large chunks of the investigation, and that's not how you're supposed to handle a case. It's the weird. The problem is, and I was talking about this. I'm trying to find a funny way to talk about this on stage. Racism wins every time. It's like the culprit. You watch those Netflix documentaries. There's a serial killer who has a noose in his hand and blood on his face, and he's white, and they're like, "You can go, sir." They're like, "That black man right there, stop him." They're like, that's what the culprit technique is a lot of the time. People letting their preconceived notions get in the way of a proper case being handled. It is 90% of these all those old cases in the 70s about these wild people going around killing people. It's always a crazy white dude, or not what they expect. I'll say that, because it's not always a crazy white dude.
But it is true
that
right. sometimes it's a sane white dude.
It's a sane white dude. But yeah, it's like they're not taking into account that there's a half of this vision of this case was ignored, and
Totally.
People are gone, people have disappeared, people have died, things have changed, evidence is decayed. It is crazy that they didn't give this the proper thing. The fact that they were coaching people to say things, and it was gross, man.
That whole 3-hour gap when they knew the guy went in for questioning, and then the recording started 3.5 hours later or whatever.
Yes,
that was. There were so many compelling things like that. And again, I'm talking about prior episodes. And I mentioned before, I'll just say it was the hardest. Man, I've been so tired lately. Every time I would sit down to watch one of those episodes, I would watch about the half hour of it, and I would fall asleep, and then I would wake up, but it would be, it would have put me into the next episode. And so I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, they're still talking about this. Maybe it's not. And then I'd be like, wait, I don't know that and then I would look and see I'm at episode 3. So I'd have to go back and watch. So I watched episodes 2 and 3 5 times because I kept going back and catching up. But it really picked up for me. I feel like once it got into the what's happened since part of the story, as compelling as I thought the first couple episodes were, I did feel like, oh yeah, this is that kind of part. It was more like a reminder of a different angle on the Serial story. And it felt so much bigger than Serial at this point. It made me think about how Serial really kind of became this thing, and it led to this huge true crime boom in podcasts and even in docs on Netflix and stuff. I feel like Serial kind of began a lot of that stuff. Totally. But it's kind of interesting how little part of the story that was. As far as if you're looking at Adnan's family, and if you're looking at Heyman Lee's family, that the Sarah Koenig of it all is really not something that features that much in their story, except as a thing that broadened the scope of who knew about it and the concern for it and stuff. But it was just interesting because it made me realize, oh yeah, at that point I was just one of these people consuming this podcast, and it's not like I wasn't thinking about the people involved, but we were hooked into the kind of murder mystery, serialized nature of it, and it's that was something that's a conversation people have to this day, which is the question of should we be making this kind of thing into entertainment? We've talked about that on this show before, and I think we favor the ones that have an angle or a point to them, something that they're doing other than just something sensationalized. And definitely this idea of freedom for someone who you could argue has served their time. I mean, they make the case that with these new sentencing for youthful offenders, with the new whatever policies around that he's sort of served his time anyway. Right. So that's a sad, compelling idea, but just this idea of someone who's been in prison for those years. When he said, when I went in, I was thinking I was going to get out and maybe go to college. And now I'm not really making plans until I know I'll start making plans when I know I'm getting out, was kind of what he said. And I thought that was really, I don't know. I'm kind of impressed with him as a person. If he didn't kill her, then I'm impressed with him as a person. If he's got us all fooled, then he's one of the most Machiavellian manipulators that I've ever seen, because he does not. He just doesn't seem. I mean, I know that I sound gullible when I say this, but I'm just saying he doesn't seem like that guy. Is there some antidote to this show that would give me the other side's point of view, or is the other side's point of view just the prosecutors did a great job in 1999 or 2000 or whatever? Like,
what's that guy's name? Did they remember the mysterious interview that they had with the kid, the black dude?
Jay?
They're like, Jay, that's the anecdote. Yeah,
Jay Wild.
Right, but I mean, like, is there anybody out there that could make a nicely made, well-considered, well-researched doc that would be about the opposing point of view? Or is the opposing point of view just, no, all this evidence is fine, shut up? You know what I mean? Is that as far as it goes? I don't know. But it seems like I thought, like, that one prosecutor, I thought seemed so smug about, like, avoiding the question of, like, why he was so into it.
Thyro?
Yeah.
Man, look, I don't like him. I'm going to be completely honest.
I didn't like him either.
And not because of, look, I think that the issue is anybody that knows about Baltimore knows that there's quite a bit of things going on here.
Yeah.
To focus your platform, because I remember this, and Aaron and I were living downtown. I remember seeing these big posters, and that was his platform for running for mayor was, We'll get Adnan Syed and solve the crime that we've been worried about.
I remember that.
Like, what? What about the crime in Baltimore? What about the disproportionate amount of people in jail and that didn't do it, or like the drug epidemic, or any other things going on, or the crazy spike in the housing market, all this stuff, none of that stuff he cared about. But you know what I got to do? I got to get Adnan in this prison tomorrow.
I know.
It was crazy, man. I fucked that dude.
Yeah.
Some of this smug, stupid. That's why he didn't win.
I also just feel like in general, like the people that maintain that approach to what is going on or what happened, like just a blind, just completely closed-minded opposition to new evidence, to new information. It's like, It's just this protective nature of like, I can't have been wrong.
Right.
Or someone that I've aligned with could not have been wrong. So I can't acknowledge that any of this is real.
Right.
Like that's a thing in life I have issues with in general.
No, I know what you mean. It's about winning, and like
all it's about.
I don't care if I won in a shady way. I'm never going to admit I'm wrong.
That is like a big. That's like I don't even know it's a pet peeve. It's just like I cannot tolerate it
Steve,
at all.
I think that might be the worst. I mean, looking at the world right now, it's like the worst thing in the world to me right now.
It is.
It's people the people that are so hellbound to stick with their story or the horse they rode in on
100%.
that they will take us all down to hell. In the name of holding on to being right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like being open to new information is such like it shouldn't be such a prized trait in people, but it's become one of my favorite things about a person is when I witness, that person got new information and they adjusted.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like update your software. It's like you're on Windows 7. I'm goddamn 11 now. It's like things are different now. It's very strange.
When you say something like that, and I think about these people in the show, and just the context of this story, this case, the lives touched and affected, anything that we've said about this show or this podcast or anything.
Yeah, this story.
This story in general, it's just like the stakes in this story are so incredibly high and emotional and real. And not that anything else, like your point, John, in the world's not, because it all is very real.
Yeah.
But like, just in this little bubble, it's like that mentality of like, again, having to be right, having to win, refusing to learn, like an unwillingness to expand anything outside of your bias or your comfort zone. It's just so contagious and it's so destructive. And it's so disappointing. And these are people from this story that I've always disliked, like the character, the people that we're talking about. And they flash back to like his old lawyers and the attorney general, like all these people that basically maintain these things and will go out of their way to block something and to stop something that should happen based on facts.
Yeah, just test the
and it's
look at
the fact that the card
evidence.
At the end.
Yeah.
The fact that the card at the end still says that they haven't tested it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like that's all you walk away from that feeling like that's why everything is such a fucking disappointment.
Yeah.
It's because there's so much selfishness involved that somebody just can't get off their ass and do the right thing, even if they even considering that it could prove them right if they don't agree with.
I know that's
what
the
they
part
think.
that's wild. That's the part that's
Yeah.
wild.
If it eliminates any other factors, wouldn't that make you more right?
Totally.
That would make you right. That would make you could be like, we tested the evidence and we're still right.
It's
That
just
would be cool.
bonkers to me.
But
It's just
that,
crazy.
that should be the bottom line. And I think that's what hurt my feelings about the platform. It's not that you were trying to convict Adnan. It's that justice wasn't important to you.
Right.
Right.
Justice shouldn't just rely on Adnan. It might be something way bigger than that. Like the nude man that was in Lincoln Park that they ignored
Yeah.
constantly.
That's the
Around
guy.
time.
That's the guy that found the body, right?
There's some
No.
weirdness.
Yeah. It is the guy.
Isn't Alonzo
But-
Sellers that guy?
Yes.
the whole openings vignette thing is what happened in the many years past that. Yeah,
Right.
the
No,
same
it's
guy,
like
though,
not
yes.
related, but I'm just saying it's
Yeah,
that guy,
totally.
and that's some
Yeah,
pretty
it's that
weird
guy.
behavior. And he's the guy who supposedly found the spot. Like, what
and
a
the house is,
coincidence
like,
that this
right
nut
near-
bar found
And
this.
yeah, and like where they found her car, it was right behind a family members of his
like
house.
they
and,
said,
like, when
the house it was closest to was their
The-
house.
the
too.
lot, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What are the chances of that?
and like the shit they find in his house is all the clippings of the. And again, like he's involved with the case. Like he found it. So
Yeah.
I could believe that maybe somebody is like tracking a story that they were involved with if it's the person who just found it.
Right, he could be a very weird
Right.
guy who is an exhibitionist or whatever. Although I love
Exactly.
that, like that, what he did to that postal worker is to me like I know I think they said he got charged with sexual assault. But it's like they kept calling that like he was exposing himself or whatever. It's like that was
Right.
like that's aggressive of exposing yourself. If you're like tromping, that's like serial killer.
Yes.
That's like slasher film thing. A guy in a mask holding a
Yes.
little jacket, walking through the woods in the daytime, and just
Yes.
walking up to your car and shaking on it. Like that is an insane story. But like that, yeah, that's one of those things where you go, how could you not be, like you're saying, Steve, if you're a prosecutor, how could you not be curious about this guy? And again, that's not to say that we know he did it. It's just that guy seems like there's a lot more, kind of like Jay in a way.
Yeah.
Jay's actually, through his confessions, he's indicated a lot more involvement than Adnan has ever admitted, you know?
Or been proven.
Or
Like,
been proven, right?
right.
Like, but I'm just saying, like the idea that,
yeah.
that scene, and again, I think this is in like episode 4 of the show. So if you go back to the 5 years ago episode,
Right.
the episode where you see you see his sentencing hearing, where he gets a slap on the wrist. It's just insane how much they're like. There's not even a big crowd there. They're not making a big deal out of it. It's really just like, well, we know this has been hard for you, and you've cooperated. So I can't. There's no point in incarcerating a person like you. I could tell you're showing remorse or whatever. It's that weird thing of you get dinged for not showing remorse when you didn't do
Yes.
it. I mean, again,
Yes.
I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying if you were standing there and you didn't do it, the idea of showing remorse for something you didn't do is a weird fucking head trip to put on somebody.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And to say, well, you didn't apologize. Was like, what am I apologizing for?
You had to bend the knee, man. You gotta
Yeah.
bend the knee. It's a very strange culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this is very off topic but very on topic. People outside of the country find it very weird that we pledge allegiance to the flag.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, why are you forced to do that? It's not that I don't love America. It's just very aggressive. If you don't pledge allegiance to this flag, you are a traitor.
Well, you just did it as a kid, and it almost felt like a fun. Like, well, sure, I'll do this. But then,
Yeah.
when you're an adult, you stop and you think, what a
Wait,
weird.
what?
Like, so we were worshiping a flag every morning for just a few minutes.
Yeah, it's strange stuff, man.
No, we do some weird shit here in America.
You do, man. And it doesn't make you anti-American to question that.
No. In fact, I would say it makes you the. I
most.
consider
You're
myself the
most.
most American person in the world.
Like, am I not the most American person?
Hey, I was born here.
Yeah.
And if I think they're going to set it up so that we can't leave. So I'm going to die here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
even if they let us leave, no one will want us. There'll be boatloads of Americans turned away.
You could. It's hard to go places now. You can't just walk into Canada. They're like, "Hey, let me see your shit. Let me see under your car. What are you
What do they
doing?"
check you for? I wonder what they check you for to decide if you're okay. Like, what thing do they check for that they can't say what they're checking, but they have to check this? It's like, I can't even think of what the thing would be. What's the little cultural, like, what would be the little clue?
I don't know, man. That'd be pretty
They can't
cool.
ask you how you voted, but they can ask you.
Right.
Hey, what would you take if you had a headache?
What color hats do you
Like
like?
Tylenol all the way, baby.
If you could just tell us what color hat you like, that'd be really cool. If you could just, what color hat?
I don't know. I
prefer?
don't wear hats. I was up too late watching Jimmy Kimmel to put on a hat this morning.
Open the gates. Yeah. So what have you guys been watching? Next pick. Who's in?
Me, I think, right?
Yeah.
I'm next. It's like, is it me?
You're the pick.
I didn't want to look unprepared. I did we all, I have a question because I have two movies I'm going to choose between, and I forgot to ask you guys before we recorded. Did we ever discuss Bring Her Back?
Bring Her Back.
I don't think so.
The
I don't think
Philippou
so.
brothers? The
No,
new film?
I wanted to see that.
I mean, I know the movie, and I remember when it was going around. You know
Yes.
what? We didn't.
Nobody
discuss
saw it, right?
I
No.
saw it and talked about it
you
on the
saw it.
show,
I didn't see it.
but you guys hadn't seen it, so it would definitely be a different conversation. I'm pretty sure I
Yeah,
talked about it on the show, but it's worth talking about.
I wanted to pick that. I thought John talked about it briefly, but not too deep because we hadn't seen it yet. But it keeps circling me, and I haven't seen it yet, and I would like it if we could do that for required viewing.
Okay, I like that. For you said
mainly
Bring Her Back. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was thinking to the tune of "Welcome Back, Carter."
Bring her back. You know, she just might be possessed. Bring her back. No, that's have you seen it, Steve?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
okay.
I've tried to
excited.
watch it a few times, and we've been talking regularly. Like horror's been doing great recently, and this year in general. And I see a lot of people keeping this film in the conversation among other recent hits. And I'm just like, I was reminded recently, like last week or the week before, that I still haven't watched it. And I loved Talk to Me, so I am just very excited to watch this. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pick Bring Her Back so that we can discuss this for the next episode.
Cool.
That's also
cool.
on it's on VOD. It's like $5, I think, on Amazon Prime or Prime Video, wherever you get your digital rentals.
Cool.
But yeah, this is the follow up from the Philippou brothers to Talk to Me. It came out earlier this year, starring Sally Hawkins and actually, I don't know if anybody else. I recognize anybody else by name, but she's supposed to be incredible in it. So
Cool.
I want to check it out.
I saw a movie that I didn't think about.
What'd you see?
Well, two movies. Maybe I'll talk about the one that was the craziest.
Okay.
Kanye West's unauthorized documentary, In Whose Name, which kind of follows 3 acts that maybe traces Kanye back 10 years. That goes everything from the beginnings of the Kardashian Kanye West get together to the Adidas fallout, the MAGA hat thing, the redesign of the hat, which I didn't know that he redesigned it, and everything else. It is a disturbing movie.
Really?
It's really disturbing for a bunch of reasons. So, in the midst of everything going on in the past, like I'd say a year, because I've been kind of tortured as a government worker with everything happening with the firings and things like this, and the reasons why people have been firing everybody. I've been trying to keep this open mind about humans, and even though they may not show me the same love do I still love them? Am I still exercising the tenets that I was taught growing up? I love Kanye West at one point, and uh, he kind of fell out of favor with me a couple years ago, and he's a character study, man. He's like, how could someone fall from grace the way that he did, so epically, so weirdly?
Right, like how can someone seemingly mess up a good thing on purpose and then do everything they can to keep messing it up? Right, like it's the weirdest thing to watch.
Yeah, because I have defiant friends. I have some friends that are especially defiant, that have had some pretty weird fallouts in small social circles where they're fighting for something that they believe in that may age well in the future, or not at all, or nobody fucking knows right now. But I will say this: there has to be more of a consideration for the people around you as you're doing these things. It doesn't mean that you can't have those beliefs, but going down into this blaze of glory for these thoughts that aren't not necessarily they're half baked and not really intelligible to people. It's just feelings over some data. Like, there's no data to back these things. It's just like,
Right.
hey, I want to. Earthworms are gonna rise to power and start driving cars. He's like, man, where's this come from? I saw it on YouTube and it felt good, and I could tell because the scientists at this one college said this that I believe in. It's just like the specificity of some of this stuff is insane.
Yeah.
And watching him kind of deteriorate, you realize that, man, there really may be something wrong with him. I don't know if he's doing any of this for money's sake or anything. And sometimes you just want people to get help. And this is, I'm pretty sure most people won't want to see this thing, but it is really interesting to see this look behind the scenes. Like, there's a scene, I don't know if you guys heard about it, where Michael Che pulls him to the side.
Yeah,
after
I've watched that clip. I've seen that
Watch
clip.
that clip where he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're just saying things and not letting us defend it. These ideas that you're talking about, it's not lined up with how we really feel.
Yeah.
And then his people are kind of protecting him from the Michael Che conversation, and it is not a crazy it's like they're holding him accountable. Then there's another scene that they aren't even talking about, where it's Leslie in a room from SNL.
Leslie Jones? No.
Leslie Jones, yeah. Leslie Jones, Kanye West, and a couple other members from SNL. And he's just talking and saying things that are like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is why I believe in Trump. And watching all of the Trump stuff is strange, too. He's like, you're my favorite president. You're my favorite guy. And he's like hugging him and stuff. And there's like, it's hard to watch, but I will say this: it is a cool character study, and it is not. He's not trying. Whoever, this is unauthorized. It's very obvious that this is unauthorized.
Yeah.
Kanye West didn't approve of this. He's looking like it. The guilt that they show after he leaves when Michael Che yells at him, but then after that, Chris Rock is like, Sinead O'Connor shit on the Pope, and nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. This is good. This may age better than you think. And then he gives him a hug and says, nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. Enforcing this whole idea that I should be saying whatever the fuck I want to say without any evidence, without any information. So it's strange that this dichotomy of having someone scold you 5 minutes and then the greatest comic ever to be like, say whatever you want to say. It's fucking weird, but
I mean, the thing is, we know that Sinead O'Connor was protesting molestation of children by the church, or the church protecting child molesters. So it's
100%.
it's like there is a difference there in the sense that we now know that was happening, and I don't think that Kanye saying, I don't know, like it's a different kind of madness that makes you say the kind of things he was saying than like if you want to view what she did as like a sort of career suicide. It shouldn't have been but it is an interesting thing. And it's also interesting how much she was really pilloried for it. Like her, like her career was really thrown off by it. And now people just sort of accept that what she was saying was based on truth. So I don't know. I mean, I wonder about a guy like Kanye, just for what you're saying, that aspect of watching someone mentally ill spin themselves out, and how it's a sad display, it's like,
sure,
why aren't there people around this person that are helping them get help? Or is it just that you can't get through to a guy like that who has so many resources that he can insulate himself against the fallout from this kind of behavior, and probably it self justifies even more because of that, because nobody understands is probably what he thinks.
It's very strange that he yells at two women like at the top of his lungs.
Oh, that's so bad.
He has no energy for any men in this film with that same energy. Like there's none of that. There's no yelling at any men like that. It's a lot of like calm, like I don't agree with you. This is it's very strange. And look, context is everything. This is Kris Jenner, and this he has this belief that his family's been corrupted by her and the culture that's existed around it. I don't know what that feels like. I'm not gonna speak on that, but it is gross watching a man double the size of a woman screaming at her at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
Yeah, it is worth the check out. If it's free on something, it comes on Netflix or something, I say check it out. And then we get to something much more positive. The Baltimorons. I saw that I refuse to see that in a county setting. I had to go deep into the city to watch it. I couldn't watch it in the county. I couldn't do it. I feel like the fucking film would have exploded or something. Just as a Baltimorean. But yeah, the Baltimorons, a J. Duplass directed film, written by Jay and Chris. J. Duplass and Chris Strassner, who is the gentleman who stars in this film, along with Liz Larson, Jesus, who plays Dee Dee. This is a cool fucking movie, and I thought that I would dislike it because I was like, I'm not hearing any accents in this trailer. It's a fun movie, man. It really is very Baltimore centric. You could tell it's filmed here. A reference to Rocket to Venus never hurts. It has a lot of heart, and it's like it's this strangeness of life after your late 30s, early 40s, where everybody kind of wants connections. The connections change. You may be in a different marital status than you used to. You may have a different family. Your family may look a little different at that point. And this is a cool reminder that love in the most romantic and non-romantic way, it still exists in the world. And there's still connections that you can have. And it's a beautiful movie, man. I find myself laughing quite a bit. The chemistry between the two characters, Dee Dee and Cliff, are so funny, man. It's just, they did it. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I thought I was gonna be hard on this movie. I thought I was gonna give it a certified thumbs down. and
why? I don't understand why.
And what I'm
protective.
I'm fucking protective, man.
Okay.
No, I know what you mean, Ronald. I anything that purports to like evoke Baltimore-ness, I like look at it like
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing
Yeah,
here?
what are you really doing here?
Yeah, yeah. But it was done. It was done really well, man. It really is a
And I mean, but
cool.
this guy's from Baltimore, right?
That
So it's
doesn't
like,
mean anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
I think it
then.
gives him some credibility.
It
I
does,
mean,
though.
Yeah, you
outside
say
of
so,
some
Steve, but I'm not
random
even really
person.
sure where you're from.
I mean,
Well,
you could.
I would say I'm from Baltimore more than you are, John.
Oh
So
yeah, really?
let's go. I
Really?
think there's
Yeah.
a Bama somewhere in your history.
I
Well, I
could
mean,
have.
but this is chosen. I came here. I didn't. I wasn't just plopped out here.
And he stayed.
Yeah.
Some people just come here, use it up, and leave. He stayed.
Yeah, you could say I got stuck here, but I like I like the sound of staying. But, no,
But
This,
yeah, yeah.
this looks really good.
It's-
I'm very excited to see
Steve,
this.
you're gonna love it, man. And it
Yeah.
is. There's some parts. There's some parts that might get you, man. Like there's like a.
that's
It's got
scary.
great reviews.
Yeah, this guy is going through quite a bit, and he meets this woman that has this something about her is just really special, and she's beautiful, man. Like
Yeah.
I think I like the use of. I mean, I don't want to use the term untraditional beauty or non-traditional, but non-traditional characters in this romantic sort of setting. I like it, man. It's cool, and more things should be done like this because there is a beauty and a tall dude that with scruffy hair and a Baltimore accent in this dentist that it's I think there's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in showing that love can happen if you let it in, and it just works. It works on all levels. Like the seriousness, it knows when to be serious. It knows when to be funny, and it cuts through it sometimes. Like sometimes
Right.
a serious scene will get really funny. But yeah, these characters have real chemistry, and I
Nice.
want to see it again. I want to see it again.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And I'll buy a physical copy. I hope that at some point we can see some of these people. I don't know much about the main character, Michael Strassner, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I want to see more stuff from him. Yeah.
Well, cool. Steve.
I haven't really watched anything, guys. I mean, we were talking before we started recording, and I literally think I only watched the required viewing this week.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, honestly, man, just haven't found myself in front of a screen, unfortunately.
It's like one of those weeks in school where you have done the absolute minimum, but you did do the minimum. You
Yeah.
turned it in. You turned
Right,
in required
right.
viewing.
Yeah, yeah, man. You got an A. You got an A.
You didn't get
That's
extra
it.
credit, but you
Yeah.
you did get proper credit.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm looking, double checking like anything, because I usually log everything, and yeah, everything I talked about last week was everything I'd seen.
Cool.
John,
Cool.
anything else that you checked
Apparently
out?
this week you were like, I've seen enough.
I've seen enough.
I've seen enough.
Well, I will say I did watch the finale of Alien Earth, so I'm all Alien Earthed up and out. And since I knew probably, well, I didn't know what you would have done, Steve, but I knew Ronald probably hadn't caught up on Alien Earth.
Hell no.
You don't intend to, or you just haven't?
I love that show. It's
Okay.
just time, man. Like the thing is, that's not one of those shows you can passively watch.
No, it really is not. It really
I
is
want to
not.
watch it. I want to watch it. I want to listen to it. I want to have it. I want it to wash over me, and that requires.
You wanna.
Really, really, really want to. So you can say, The problem is, I'll be watching the show and somebody texts me on the show that says, "Is this a scary show?" Because it's in the dark and the lights on. Is it because something scary is about to happen? Oh, is there something scary in that big egg? Is someone gonna come out that big egg? Why is that big egg opening? So I get a lot of that. So I can't really watch stuff until the weekend was really when I get or really late at night.
Yeah.
Is when I get time. So
Well, no, I was just going to say it definitely Well, I don't think this is. I think this is something I wish I'd known before I started watching the season. So this is not a spoiler. It's definitely more of a season one than it is a miniseries. This is a full. At the end of this episode, you feel like, oh, I just saw season one. I did not see a miniseries. Cool. But I mean, like, I wonder if they knew. I think it is supposed to get a second season, but I wonder if they knew that. I don't know, like, because this would be a risky move if they didn't think they had a second season.
Yeah.
But I'm actually planning, at the time we record this on a Wednesday, this episode's coming out on a Friday. I have plans with a couple friends to record something tomorrow that would be like an emergency recap of Alien Earth, just because I've got too many thoughts. And I knew that we probably wouldn't be able to do a full spoiler section on this show. So if there's a good chance when you're listening to this on Movie Schmovie that if you go to my other podcast feed, FYIZ, you will see some kind of emergency Alien Earth conversation. I'm planning on recording this tomorrow. So if I'm saying this right now and there's not something, in fact, I will have to record some kind of message that says sorry and put it on my feed if I don't manage to do this, because I'm now saying this to Movie Schmovie listeners. But it ought to be a pretty good little chat. I have a few larger topics that I want to talk about, but that there's no way to talk about unless you are fully spoiled on Alien Earth. So, but outside of that, yeah, I would just say that, like, I think if I had known I was watching a season one more than a fully realized story, I would have relaxed about expecting certain things, because if this were a self-contained story, there's a few things that definitely would have happened in the last episode that don't happen. But the way things go, I don't know. I think it's really interesting to see Noah Hawley, if this is like another show that he can get a few seasons out of. It's cool to see this and put this on the shelf kind of next to, it's like between Legion and Fargo for me, in terms of like the storytelling versus just the poetic weirdness, whereas Legion really leans into the sort of trippy visuals, and Fargo is really like philosophical, but very narratively driven. This show is kind of splitting that difference. And it's funny though, when I think about it, those are all like IP. It's an interesting collection of IP, but like an obscure X-Men character, the mythos of the Coen brothers, and picking up not just with the Alien franchise, but I feel like this show very much is in love with the first Alien movie. There's so much that this show does that's in conversation with the visuals and the style and the feel of that movie. So I don't know. It's an interesting experiment overall, and I'm really excited about a second season. But even he said in an interview, it's really hard these days with a show like that to not be like, well, we will probably have a second season in a few years. It's crazy. It's just really, he was saying he really wants to build the momentum and get something to audiences sooner than he thinks he can, especially because there's supposed to be a sixth season of Fargo in there somewhere too. So I don't know when we will get the continuation of what's going on in Alien Earth, but it kind of feels like they intend to come back soon. I would love it if this could be the kind of show we could get every year or so. It's crazy to think that just doesn't happen anymore. And we used to expect that even from prestige shows. They would still give you a season roughly every year, like Sopranos and Deadwood and The Wire and Better Call Saul. I mean, sometimes they would have a little more than a year between two seasons, but you still felt like, okay, sometime around this time next year, we're going to be getting back to this. But now it's like 2 years minimum, it seems like, for these big shows. So anyway, Alien Earth, and also a movie that I've been meaning to mention for weeks, and I was thinking about doing it as a required viewing at one point, but it just kind of slipped past me. And I just feel like I should mention Eddington. We've never talked about Eddington on this show. Have either of you guys seen it?
No.
Saying I loved Eddington would sound kind of strange, but in the same way that I loved Beau is Afraid, despite the fact that it's like, I think it's got about an hour in it that it could lose and I would love it just as much. Eddington is a very strange film as well, structurally, but what Joaquin Phoenix is doing in it is just kind of hypnotic and amazing.
Wow.
And even though Pedro Pascal's not in it as much as you might think from the trailer and the poster, there's some great friction between those guys and their kind of energy, but just the examination of the kind of COVID era sort of mental break that some people had, maybe you could say in one direction or the other, but definitely Joaquin Phoenix's character is sort of an anti-masker type who is sort of that kind of, the story spirals out of that sort of moment in time, and it feels very much like, for Ari Aster, who we associate with this kind of weird insinuating horror that he does, and even Beau is Afraid, which is sort of a dark comedy, it also had sort of a nightmare logic to it. Eddington really, it's a very blackly comic film. I mean, it's very, very like just pitch black humor, but it's very, I don't know. It really feels like there's something in it that really felt like it was alive. Now, maybe some of the characters in it act like characters in a Simpsons or South Park episode where just everyone in the town is going crazy. But the way that Joaquin plays this guy who is sort of like, you see him as a kind of decent man, even if you think he's very wrong-headed in what he's doing. And he just, I don't know, there's an aw shucks aspect to him that he plays this kind of guy. He reminds me of people that I've known from, speaking of the Bama, in my past. Like there's some guys who I know who in the South who kind of reminded me of this character that Joaquin plays in Eddington. But it's a satire, and it's just a really strange movie, and I kind of recommend it to anyone who thinks they might like it. I can see how it would be the sort of movie that would have a low cinema score. I don't know if it did, but it seems like the kind of movie that whatever you market it as, it's not what it is. You know what I mean? Like there's no way to market what it is and think that you're going to bring audiences in. The thing that markets it is it's an Ari Aster film, and it's got those guys in it. But no, I really enjoyed it, even though it's very strange. And I would say that if at this point it sounds like something you want to see, don't sleep on Eddington just because it seemed like it kind of came and went. Cool. I really think I do think it's the kind of movie that in some ways I was like, I don't know if people are ready to look at, like, recent history is always weird. I don't think people are ready to see a satire that pokes like vicious fun at like how we were 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think people are ready for that. They need more distance than that, but
cool.
I think that's it.
Does that sound like that's it to you, Ronald? Anything else you want to mention?
No, that's it. That's it for me.
All right, cool. Moviesmovie.com is the website. You can go there to listen to every episode we've ever put out, or you could just subscribe to the podcast through your preferred platform of choice. There's links there for everything. YouTube.com/Movie Podcast is another option if you want audio, visual, full length, shorts, whatever you need. It's got many options. So go there and subscribe maybe. And if you do, please hit the notification icon, the bell, to make sure you get awareness of when new episodes or new postings hit the YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. We haven't really worked out the details of this, but I know there may be a gap in the release of our upcoming episodes due to some vacation time. But we'll be back shortly. And until then, we'll see you. But as always, thank you so much for listening. You made our day. Thanks.
Bye.